You are now listening to Mike's Opinion, Logic Unleashed.
That's right. Logic Unleashed. Logic Unleashed here, baby, at the Mike's Opinion Podcast. I hope you're doing all right. I hope you're doing good. I hope you are maintaining, like at the very least. And I know it's tough. I'm recording this the day after the 4th of July. And it's national news. We all know what happened. And I'm going to get to that in just a second briefly. But, you know, I always want to know, how you doing? How are you doing out there? Are you all right? You're going to be all right. It may take time. But you and me, we are all going to be okay. You know why? Because we got to. You know why? Because if history is any indication, we get past things. We move on and we pass this world on to our children. So, as I always want to know, are you okay? I truly hope you are okay and can find a pathway to okay if you're not okay. In fact, I always say okay, because okay is alright, right? If you're okay, you say, hey, I'm okay. But I hope you're better than okay. I hope you're fine. I hope you're great. And I know the mood of the country, the mood of the planet, you know, and I've said this before, we addict to the drama, to the hate, to the evil, you know, humans, what are we going to do with them? We're just going to be, and we're going to keep trying to move forward, do our best to move forward. This episode, if you listen to my last episode, I was kind of in a funk. And I've bounced back regardless of recent isolated crazy incidents. I have bounced back. I'm back to me. We all get there, right? We all get down in the dumps. A little funkity funk. And I'm not immune. I'm human too. And even though I'm like, I was about to say 90. I'm going to say about 87% happy. There's a solid about 13%. You know, I succumb. Like I get a barrage of shit all at once. Don't take one thing doesn't really get me. It takes it has to be like a symphony of shit to just get me like down. You understand what I'm saying? So there's that. But I truly, like I said, I hope you're doing all right out there. We all need each other. We all need each other. This episode is the up-to-date episode. I said the up-to-date. The up-to-date. That's not a word. The up-to-date. The update episode is right here, right now. And I haven't done one in a minute. Yes, I am aware. I know all of y'all's like, yo, I love your update episodes because you talk about a multitude of things. Well, here I am. I didn't do one in June. Did one in May. And this update is custom designed just for you. And you say, yo, Mike, it's just for me? Yes, it's just for you. For me? Yes, for you. And you know why? Because I'm going to touch on the bad topics. I'm just going to put bad and good categories, right? I'm going to touch on the bad topics. We can't ignore the bad. We cannot ignore the bad. It would not behoove us to stick our head in the sand and act like the bad doesn't exist. It does. We have to see it. We have to acknowledge it. We have to process it, and we have to live with it. We have to try our best to be better and help those that need help. So without further ado, well, hold on. Ado. There will be some ado. I just want to tell you why it's customized for you. I'm going to address the bad stuff, but I'm going to end on a good note. I want to share some good news, and it's out there. And if I remember, I'll put the links to everything that I talk about. I've been trying to do better. I've been being better, and even after I've published the episode, I'll go back, add the links, and republish the episode. You know why I do that? I do it for you. I do it for you, to try to give you the ability to dive deeper should you choose to, without having to search around. Even though we all have access to these search engines, I'm not saying nobody's name because I ain't sponsored. By the way, please support the show. Please like, share, subscribe, donate some fundage if you can. GoFundMe link, all of that, Venmo, PayPal, all that is there. But I'm not sponsored. So when I make these episodes, I do the research. And you have access to search engines just like I do, right? But I the value in this show is maybe to save you some time. The link's already there, right in the show notes. Something I'm talking about, you want to dive deep into it for yourself? Boom. The link will start your trek, your journey for information can be set in the direction. And once again, I'm not sponsored. Nobody's trying to get me to send you to click a link. If you've listened to my podcast, the Mike's Opinion podcast, over the last 2 years, you haven't heard a single commercial. I hope you find as much value in that as I do doing it. I have passed up some money. I'm not just some offers, and I can't say I'm going to keep this commercial free. I can't say this. My other podcast, the world's shortest podcast, you can check that out. And that's not a commercial, but that podcast has some ads on it. Okay. But the Mike's Opinion podcast, no ads. And I hope you appreciate that. And if you find value in this podcast and the fact that there are no commercials, you can listen commercial free without being interrupted, send me some value back. Like I said, support the show. If you can, money-wise, I need the money to grow the show. I do. I need equipment. I need marketing. I need all the things that a real show, and this is a real show, but that the larger shows is what I mean. This is a real show, but the more popular shows, the more successful shows, they have these teams of people they hire. They got marketing budgets. I need those things. So I'm not asking you so I can go get a pair of Jordans. No, that's not how I get down. That's not how I operate. So I will do my best to remember to include these links, but this is specially formulated. The information I sought out for this episode, for this Mike's Opinion podcast update episode, is designed not to ignore the bad and to end and leave you with good, positive, happy information. Hopefully things that'll make you smile, that'll trigger some joy. I hate use the word trigger. That will encourage some joy. That will send you off on a good note. We need a good note. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. There's a song, and I'm pretty sure there's many iterations, but the one I'm referring to that I've heard is by Dionne Warwick. And I'll spare you. I really want to sing it right now. Y'all know I'll be singing sometime. I really want to, but I'm not going to sing it. But what the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing there's much too little of, is how the song goes. Check it out. It's a good song. I like the song. I hope you like the song. But let's go ahead and dive right in. And like I said, I'm going to start, sadly, with the bad. 4th of July. Y'all know where I'm going. I record this the night before I release it to have the most, I don't have a bunch of stuff just sitting in the can waiting to release. I should. That would be smart. But I like to give you the most up-to-date, current information. So I record the night before I release. So this will come out on Wednesday. I release most times. I've been trying to stay consistent. I release Wednesday at 12:01 in the afternoon, just a minute after noon. On Wednesdays, and that is Central Time, Dallas/Chicago time. So depending on where you at in the world, I need to find out what is it, GMT time? So for my people worldwide who are listening, and I appreciate everybody that listens. Thank you so much for doing so. So you can find me hopefully you set it up where you get notifications when the episodes drop. So, like I said, this is being recorded at night, the day after the 4th of July. So, Highland Park, Illinois, suburb of Chicago. Yet another gunman. This time, yet another young gunman decides to throw his life away and shoot seemingly random people dead. So far, 7 people dead, many others injured. It sounds cliche, but I don't know what else to say, because I sincerely mean it. Sincerely, heartfelt, wholeheartedly mean it when I say my thoughts and my prayers are with you and go out to all the people that have been horrified and traumatized and victimized and injured and killed in these mass shootings, and anybody that's suffering or has suffered or has been unjustly killed. Really. That wasn't the only shooting. There was another one in Philadelphia. So we got Highland Park, Uvalde, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Columbine. Today, July 5th, as I'm recording this, Rochester, New York, at a rec center. I have an episode coming up about mass shooters. It's taken a lot of research. It's taken time for me to compile the information that I need to dedicate a full episode. I don't want to do the episode, but I feel my whole goal for this whole podcast is to help planet Earth, right? Is to be a shining light, to give some good, even if I have to talk about hard, tough shit like mass shootings. But I've already titled the episode, and the title is The Solution. Because I have a solution. One of many solutions, but I have a solution how we can either deter, slow down, or stop mass shootings. So stay tuned for that. Keep your eye out for that. I scoured a bunch of the major news organizations and some less than popular. They're still large news organizations, but they're not as popular. But this shooting information, and if you ever want the latest gun violence information, there is I can't say wonderful website because I wish it didn't exist. A thorough website, a website that is very on their shit when it comes to compiling and gathering this information. It's called Gun Violence Archive. It'll be in the show notes if I remember, but it's gunviolencearchive.org. Again, gunviolencearchive.org. Go there prepared, because it's some of the saddest, most disturbing information that you will find. It's a chronological, informational list. 25 incidents per page of gun violence that has happened. They have a whole section just for mass shooting. But they chronicle every gun violence incident here in the United States. They may do it abroad too, but I concentrated on the United States. Every one. And it's horrifying. It's horrifying. It's disgusting. I am middle-aged. And either because of the internet, I didn't hear about these things, or perhaps they didn't happen. But I never once recall going to school thinking someone would come in and shoot up the school. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it real with you all the time, every day, all day. Was there going to be a fight outside? Maybe. Might somebody bring a knife? Maybe. But guns and gun culture was not as pervasive. It hadn't saturated our world, our nation, our culture, our neighborhoods the way it has. So I ain't grow up with that. And nor I wasn't as much as a news hound as I was, but word spread. I lived in New York City. I grew up in Harlem and the South Bronx. Ran around all the boroughs. Well, maybe not Staten Island that much. Shout out to the Woo, but you know what I'm saying? But there was gun violence in New York City. I intimately and personally been witness to many things, but it wasn't school. School was a safe haven. I didn't have to worry about that at school. Now, schools, hospitals, grocery stores, churches, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So how can you blame people for being on high alert? Nerves rattled, people paranoid. We're turning our world into chaos. I'm going to leave that there for right now. Like I said, I'm not concentrating on the bad. This is an update episode. I got a lot of stuff to get to. But I could not ignore it. I wanted to start with that because it's the elephant in the room, right? The bad elephant. There are all elephants. There's some good elephants out there. Matter of fact, I think all elephants are good. Even the ones that lose their mind and trample people at the circus. But that's usually the elephants that have been abused. Right? Enough about elephants. The next story, I put this in the bad column. And you can chime in. Hit me up. Message me. Contact me and let me know how you feel about this. You can do it on any of the social medias. You can DM me. Shoot me an email. Mike'sOpinionShow@gmail.com. I am very interested to know how others feel about this. How do you feel about this? And you say, Mike, what's this? What are you talking about? I'm talking about the Large Hadron Collider. CERN. On the Swiss-French border. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Large Hadron Collider is located deep underneath the Alps. It's made of superconducting magnets that are chilled to negative 456 degrees Fahrenheit, which, by the way, is a negative 271.3 degrees Celsius, in case you were wondering. What they do is smash atoms. The Large Hadron Collider is responsible for the discovery of the Higgs boson particle, otherwise known as the God particle. I will put the link. I will do my best to remember, but all you have to do is type CERN, CERN, and you can do the research, because I say this is bad for one primary reason. I am not anti-technology, even though I don't think we need to know everything. We don't need to figure out the whole secrets of the cosmos to have a happy life. But there are those out there that want to discover everything, even down to the slightest particle. That's these guys. I put this in the bad column, and I always have since 10 years ago when this super collider started, which is not the only one, by the way. Not the only collider. I put this in the bad column because if something goes wrong, if something goes awry, if there is a mistake, they can open up a black hole and swallow our entire planet. Maybe our entire solar system. Maybe the entire universe. This Large Hadron Collider, should something go terribly and horribly wrong, can destroy our entire planet. I would say that's bad. Wouldn't you? Again, I'm not anti-science. I'm not anti-progress. I'm not anti-technology. But do we need to know the whole secrets? The God particle, the Bogues, Higgs boson particle, which they discovered a while back. They call it the God particle. They think they know the fabric of what created existence and all matter that exists in existence. Why we need to know that shit? What are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with that information? Try to control it, make another universe? We're fucking with some shit that don't need to be fucked with. Pardon my French. My profanity. I try not to use it. But do you understand what I'm saying? So, they just fired it back up after making upgrades for the last 3 years and tinkering with it. And I say tinker because it makes me think of, somebody's toy. May something good come out of this? Is it possible? Perhaps. But I think some shit just needs to be left alone. It needs to be left alone. These proton beams and messing around to see what's inside an atom. Trying to find out what dark matter is. Supposedly dark matter is invisible and it doesn't absorb light, it doesn't reflect light, it doesn't emit light. And what we gonna do with that shit? I wanted to mention that because they just fired it back up. So if you in the shower, if you in your car, if you chilling with your significant other, and all of a sudden you find yourself, whoop, the world is gone, it's probably them. It's probably them. Yeah. Moving on. I know you probably heard by now, but I definitely want to touch base on this. I believe I can fly. I said I wasn't going to sing. I'm sorry. But you probably know who made that song, right? Robert Kelly, otherwise known as R. Kelly, the R. Just got 30 years. He was sentenced to 30 years after a 5-week trial in New York. 30 years. In prison. R. Kelly's 55. Adds a death sentence. Right? For those of you that don't know, or maybe haven't listened to all of my 100+ episodes, I have 2 episodes dedicated to R. Kelly. I'm not going to go into it. If you want to know how I feel about R. Kelly and his situation, go check out those 2 episodes. They're among some of the most popular ones. R. Kelly's also facing another trial in Illinois in August. We will probably not hear another song or see R. Kelly in public again. I will be making a third episode about R. Kelly. I will share my thoughts then about R. Kelly. But I just wanted to share with you because, 30 years for anybody in prison, but especially getting 30 years, and he's probably going to get more time after this other trial at 55. I hate to see anybody not forgiven and no mercy, and that will spend the rest of their entire life behind bars in prison. I have never been to prison. I don't ever want to go to prison. And prison is different than jail. Like, you get too many speeding tickets, you might go to jail for a few days, a week, get out. Prison is for years and decades or forever of your life. So that's why I filed that under bad news. That's bad news. Especially for R. Kelly. Moving on. This next one, you can be like, yo, Mike, why you put this under bad news? There's so much stuff going on in the world. This seems like good and fun. It's not. It's not. And once again, you want to know what I'm talking about? Want to know what I'm talking about? I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. And you say, you're like, yo, Mike, you from New York. And listen, I'm not opposed to hot dogs. 86th Street, this place called Papaya. They've been there forever. Once again, I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm mentioning them from my personal memories. Okay? And hold on for a second because my dog got to go out. Hold on, I'll be right back. I hear you. Come on, I hear you. Okay. So I'm back. I will edit out the long pause, but my dog, just a little side note, is 16 years old. She's a lab shepherd mix or so, I think. And she's still kicking. For those of you who know, I lost two of my cats that I had for 14 years, or 15 years rather. Still heartbroken over that, but my dog, she's still going. She can't make it upstairs no more. And she ain't running nowhere, but she's still kicking. And God, I love that dog. I love that dog. But back to Joey Chestnut, the fellow's name. Listen, you say, yo, Mike, why would you file this under bad news? Because the shit is bad. Nobody needs to eat 63 hot dogs in under 10 minutes. Nobody. That's bad any way you look at it. And dude, hear me. If you don't know nothing about this, has done this for the 15th time. So, talking to my wife, I'm like, look, he knows this event is coming every year. He's got to do something. Like, they need to check for surgery or something. Or like immediately after, does he have a barf fest? At the risk of sounding gross and disgusting, and I know that is. But 63 hot dogs with the buns in under 10 minutes. Mr. Joey Chestnut, congratulations. I mean, yeah. Now, I mentioned Papaya on 86th Street. They've been there forever. I have fond memories of Papaya. Papaya is a hot dog joint. They serve fresh papaya juice. So, well, I'm going to say supposedly. I'm assuming it's fresh papaya juice. And some of the best hot dogs you ever used that you can ever find. They are just tasty. I can't even begin to tell you. Knowing how hot dogs are created, knowing what's in hot dogs, should repulse me. I should never even eat another hot dog in my life. But I do. Them shits is just tasty. I don't even know. And like I said, that's in New York City, right? 86th Street. I forgot what Ave. Maybe 5th or Lex. Like Lexington or something. I think it's on the east side of the park. So maybe even 3rd Ave. I can't remember. But if you ever find yourself in New York City around 86th Street and you like hot dogs, go check it out. Well, the papaya juice is good too. It complements hot dogs well. There also used to be this joint, which I know for a fact is no longer there, called Gorman's. It was on Fordham Ave in the Bronx. Little tiny joint. All it had was the counter and a little space behind the counter. They had an open window to the street right there on Fordham Road. It was almost at the top of the hill near the Grand Concourse. For all my New Yorkers, my Bronx people, they know what I'm talking about. Yo, them hot dogs were so good. And they had this bun. It was like a piece of bread, but it wasn't. But it wasn't like a normal hot dog bun. The spicy mustard. And of course, there's the street hot dogs. Them street vendors with them boiling hot dogs, been boiling for 3 days, sitting in that same cart. I don't want to know. But you throw one of them hot dogs in the warm bun, it's a little soft, kind of a little moist. They steam the bun joints. And then you put that with some mustard, some relish, and some of them red onions. Delicious. I didn't mean to take you on a hot dog extravaganza because I'm still in the bad category. This is the last line item of the bad category. Then we're going to get to the good news. Not even news, good information that I have to share with you. But I put this in the bad because hot dogs are bad. From a health perspective. Supposedly anything with eyes that you eat is bad. Ask any vegan and they'll be glad to tell you. And I am torn. Listen to my episode, Vegan versus Carnivore, and you will understand how I feel about that because it's a battle every day. The benefits when I was vegan, I felt like Superman, kinda. Because you really feel like you can't really be expending any unnecessary energy. You feel light. You feel healthier. You definitely feel healthier. I would dare say I felt better than when I do consume meat. But in this country, Western civilizations, especially here in America, we don't eat for nutrition. We don't eat for sustenance. We eat for pleasure. Sustenance and is like a byproduct. Right? We don't eat for life. We eat for pleasure. We eat and eat and eat and so many things and events and, episodes of our lives are centered around the meal, around food. We gather around large amounts of food. So I understand why everybody celebrates the hot dog eating contest. I just think it's horrible. It's a gross display of excess consumption. This 2022 hot dog eating contest ended when Mr. Joey Chestnut, the reigning champion, consumed 63 hot dogs with buns. Last year, he consumed 76 hot dogs with the buns. And if my understanding is correct, in under 10 minutes. I just want to pause for a second. I want you to just walk with me, okay? You're hungry. You sit down at the table, and in front of you is a bucket, a trough, or multiple plates stacked high with hot dogs. Tens and tens and tens of hot dogs. How many hot dogs do you normally eat in a sitting? I'm like 2. And that's like the bun length joints, not the little small joints, but the joints that kind of stick out the bun just a little bit. I don't know if they're foot longs or whatever, but like 2, and I'm good. If I'm feeling particularly greedy or hungry, I might do 3. And a lot of times I'll just throw some spicy mustard or some Dijon, and that's it. Now, recently, I admit, a few weeks ago, I had a hankering for what they call a Chicago dog. Now check this out. I put on this hot dog, of course, the hot dog in a bun, and they don't sell buns with the poppy seeds. So I found a little, not a recipe, but a way to make the poppy seeds stick to the bun. So I had the poppy seed hot dog bun with the hot dog, and I did the hot dog in the air fryer, so it kind of has that papaya location or that gourmet's location. It's kind of, it makes the oils, the grease kind of pop out of the hot dog. So it almost has that grill flavor, even though nothing can replace the grill. Something over some hot fire and coals. But anyway, and then they have these sliced pickle slices, right? Not like the wedge, but it's like a flat sandwich slice. They call them sandwich pickles. So I put the sandwich pickle, and I do the bread and butter joints, like the sweet ones. And my wife hates them. She's a dill girl. She likes the dill. Anyway, I think anyone would have sufficed. But I put pickle, tomato, onion, relish, celery salt. It seems like I'm missing something. Of course, mustard. It seems like I'm missing something. But this was more than a hot dog, right? Because I had a craving for one of those. And it was good. It was good. Got a little messy. It's a lot for that bun to handle. But it's pretty good. So I'm saying all that to say I'm not anti-hot dog. Right? Nathan's, they still sell them in the packs down here in the grocery store. And I grew up eating Nathan's hot dog back in New York, back at the crib. So I get it. I get the hot dog situation. But, 63 hot dogs this year, 76 last year. I would like to see the cholesterol report and Joey Chestnut's health. Now, granted, this is only once a year. Maybe he vegan. For the rest of the year, he works out. I don't recall seeing the video or the pictures for this story. I probably need to go see what Joey looked like. But I don't know. I just don't think that's good. I don't think that's good. Mike's Opinion Show at gmail.com. Mike's Opinion Show at gmail.com. Let me know. I want to know what you think about hot dogs. What's your favorite hot dog? What you think about somebody eating 63 hot dogs in under 10 minutes? With the buns. Ugh. Okay. That's all the bad we're going to work with today. We're going to take the bad and set it aside because today's world we live in, we're inundated, barrage with these bad news, all this bad news. We're going to stay up. We're going to keep going. And there's good news out there. There's good information out there. There are good things happening in our world. Now, I don't know how you feel about Elon Musk or Tesla, but I'm here to tell you, and I just for the record, I'm torn. Never met Elon, don't know him. Seems kind of wanky, kind of eccentric, kind of brilliant with the things he's bringing to the market. Right? Can't deny that. Okay. Is he our modern day Tesla? Nikola Tesla? Is he our modern day Einstein? I can't say for sure, but he seems like he wants to do positive things. One of those things is get us off of fossil fuels. Get us off the coal and the natural gas. So I just recently learned that Hawaii, I know Hawaiians are very particular about their language and whatnot. I have never had the pleasure of visiting the Hawaiian Islands. I'd like to do so before I perish. Support the show, please, so the show can grow. I can start generating some profit and sustain myself and take my family on a trip to Hawaii. Or if you want to sponsor that, feel free to do so. That would be greatly appreciated because I haven't had a vacation in 22 years. That's the truth. 158 Tesla mega batteries will boost Hawaiian green energy by 10% and shut down a particular coal-fired power plant. Hawaii wants to transition to 100% renewable energy. Bravo. Why aren't we all? We need this electricity, right? I personally could do without it. And you say, yo, Mike, What's wrong with you? You wouldn't have no phone. You wouldn't have no podcast. Nope. I'd just be out in the Times Square to my local group, sharing the good news, trying to affect the world positively, trying to project and give positivity to our world and to my village. Imagine if electricity stopped. Imagine if there was an EMP. EMP stands for electromagnetic pulse. Would shut down everything. What would happen? Like batteries, right? Like these batteries. These batteries, which are huge, giant batteries. Okay? They're called Tesla Energy Megapacks. Are powered by the sun. The sun is like amazing doesn't even begin to describe this big giant fireball in the sky that without it, we'd be underground dwellers at best or obsolete and perished at worst. Sun's essential to our human survival. But these batteries are powered by the sun. The sun can power this planet. Now, I don't want to get missing, but I'm just going to say there are men and organizations that profit greatly from oil, gas, and coal. I'm just going to say it. You already know that though, right? You know that. You know there's no secret. I'm not letting out no secrets. But they really don't want nobody to talk about it too much. So let's act like I ain't say that. You heard it like I whispered it to you. Okay? But we can most likely, if my understanding is correct, get all of our electricity needs from the sun, from the ocean, and from the wind. All natural and what's commonly referred to as renewable energy sources. And my dog is knocking on the door. Yes, my dog knocks on the door. When she comes from the backyard, chasing bunnies, sniffing around, checking the perimeter, all things is what she does daily. And she's ready to come back inside. She knocks on the door. Like a human, like she knocks on the door, which she just did. So excuse me, I'll be right back while I let my dog in. Are you standing here? You want to go drink some water? I'm going to leave the door. Okay, excuse me. So I'm back and my dog, I'm going to edit out that pause, of course, but my dog, she walks back to the office / studio like she got a job. She always comes right back in here. Anyway, so these batteries, Tesla and other energy companies that are out there, because Tesla's not the only game in town, are doing what coulda, shoulda been done, I think, decades ago. Once solar energy was proven as a technology that could be relied upon, why are we not doing this? Once again, I think I know why. Because this, your electricity bill, your energy bill, both summer, winter, all the way around, how much is it? I would really like to know. So I can compare it to mine. Mike'sOpinionShow@gmail.com. Email me what you pay. If you want to shoot me a copy of your electricity bill, you can, redact all the information. I'm not trying to find out your information unless you just want me to have it. But I will do nothing with it, by the way. But, just around the world and around the nation, I'd like to know what you pay regularly. Because I know without a doubt we're talking billions of dollars worldwide, right? That we all pay to heat, cool, and provide electricity to our house for our for all of our many devices that require electricity. Why aren't cell phones capable of being solar powered? It's a small device. Back in the days, they used to have roof antennas, which I have one now. I cut the cord a long time ago to get all my local channels in clear HD. I have digital antennas in my attic. Can I help you, dog? I just let you out. Stop bothering me. Beat it. I love you. You're distracting me. I wonder why we can't have everyone have a small, let's say the size of a cereal box, that can power our televisions, that can power our cell phones, that can power small devices like my blender. Maybe I just came up with an idea. Maybe I should do that. Maybe if you want to come in with me on this idea, message me, mikesopinionshow@gmail.com. Let's go. Let's go. Let's change the world and make some money at the same time. 158 lithium-ion megapacks from Tesla Energy are going to be sitting in Oahu, in Hawaii. And this is going to begin March 2023. And they are going to shut down a coal-fired power plant, which belches bad things into the air. I'll just put it like that without getting too scientific. That's great news. That's really great information. Don't you think? Don't you think a coal-fired power plant is going to be taken offline? Bravo to Tesla. No matter about, what you, like I said, what you think of them, but bravo to them for doing that. For Hawaii, out of all of our states and territories, right? They should be the first ones because they're so beautiful, or so I've been told and seen pictures, videos. I used to watch Hawaii Five-0, the original Hawaii Five-0. Man, I'm looking forward to the day I can take myself and my family to Hawaii. Moving on. The next one, and like I said, this will prove I'm not anti-technology. Love technology. Could I do without it? Could I live in a cave, foraging for fruits and nuts and the occasional meat kill with a loincloth or no loincloth and build fire for warmth and just enjoy the planet with no electricity? I absolutely could. He say, yo, Mike, no, you couldn't. Yes, I could. Yes, I could. Moving on, as I said. This story, when I read it, I was like, wow. Several of these stories, and I never, like I said, I usually want to put the links in the show notes, but I want to tell you about this link in case you do not know how to get to the show notes, which all you got to do is just scroll down. Show notes are there in most podcasts. There's a wealth of information there that I publish every week with every episode. This is a website I think you should know about. It's called goodnewsnetwork.org. Goodnewsnetwork.org. Put it right wherever you get the rest of your news from. Because this is a balancing mechanism. The news, otherwise known as the bad news, we're constantly supplied with who got shot, who got stabbed. Bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news. The economy sucks. The politicians are doing this. Bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news. Can't ignore it. We got to know what's going on. Or do we? Yes, we do. Can't ignore the bad. But immediately after you finish that, go here. And there are other websites out there that concentrate on good news. Good news. Balance it out. I suggest you do the good news last, so you will end on a good note, like I am doing today. But what we have here is a new technological medical device. And I see great promise for this. And if I read correctly, it's completely biocompatible, meaning it doesn't affect your body in any negative way. They have created a dissolvable implant that relieves pain on demand without the use of drugs or opioids. Dog, what are you doing? Are you okay? What did you just do? My dog is a big dog, by the way. Can you stop interrupting the show, please? Thank you. This dissolvable implant relieves pain, like I said, on demand. No drugs, no opioids. Now, if you haven't heard, we're in the crux of a opioid epidemic. Opioids are very effective. They are also highly addictive. So people are getting hooked. People are dying. Families are being ruined because of opioids. So to have a drug-free alternative, which I hope doesn't stay an alternative, but becomes the norm that can relieve pain on demand, that'd be great. Now, I don't take drugs. Okay. Like I said, I'm in my mid 50s, midlife, as they say. Hopefully it's mid. I hope it's the middle. I hope I get another 50 plus. Hopefully. Hadn't always been the case. But I've never been a pharmaceutical drug taker. And as of right now, today, in the last, I don't know, 30 years, I haven't had a need to be on pharmaceuticals of any kind. And today I don't take any. On the very rare occasion I have some kind of pain or I get a headache, I may take some ibuprofen or something along those lines. But I may take 3 of those a year, if that. I am fortunate, and I want to say blessed, but depends on what you believe in, right? But I'm very lucky that I am in relatively good health and that I don't suffer from headaches and the need. There are those that I refer to as pill poppers. And that sounds judgmental, right? And I don't mean to be. But I, many, many years ago, decided to become holistic, or at least more holistic, more natural, seeking out remedies from the Eastern world. Acupuncture, teas, good diet, exercise, vegetables, herbs, things of that nature that can help keep me healthy or cure whatever ails me. Those that turn to Western medicine and its vast pharmaceutical options, mostly pill form, but there are nasal sprays and injections and creams, topicals, as they call them. There's all these things pharmaceutically derived. And I just, for me, I need to remind you that these are all for-profit, very rich and powerful companies. They're not doing it to be nice. They're not making these drugs for short-term use in most cases. They want you to be on them for a long time. They want to increase their bottom line and increase their billions and billions and billions of dollars of profit. So the upper 10, 15, 20% of the company, of the owners, participants in the company, can take vacations and own yachts and travel the world in their private jets. They're not doing charity work. They're drug dealers. And the government's involved. Once again, I don't want to come up missing. You know what I'm saying? So pharmaceutical company. I'm just a little small podcasting guy trying to make it. But I do call a spade a spade. As a black man, I hate that phrase, a spade, because that was used as a derogatory term for black people. So I'll just say if the shoe fits, wear it. Pharmaceutical companies. So, when I read about a small, biocompatible, water-soluble device that can relieve pain on demand, and then once done, your body, it just dissolves and goes away with no toxicity, I'm excited. That's great information. Now, I once again will try my best to remember to put these links in there so you can check this out. This study came from Northwestern. That's Northwestern University. That is, in case you're not familiar with Northwestern. And it's a small little thing. Now, right now, they think some of the most practical applications are it can be applied or used to people that maybe have routine surgeries or amputations. Because if I read this correctly, if I understand this correctly, it does have to be surgically implanted. It doesn't have to be surgically extracted because it dissolves. Think like dissolvable stitches. Stitches that just fade away into your body. And I guess they pass, I would imagine. But it's got a little device that you can press the button and adjust when you want it, how much intensity you want it. And basically it works. They take this little tiny thing, water soluble, biocompatible little strip, and they put it on the nerve. That's how small it is. And the way it works, it cools down the nerves. And the nerves are what make our brain feel the pain. Our nerves transfers that signal and it's registered as pain. I'm not trying to get all sciencey on you. Like I said, for those that have full understanding and want to learn more, and for those that don't, just know this is not taking a pill. Something more natural for our bodies if you're in pain. They see other applications as this goes along. When I read stories like this, I'm often reminded of the fantasy stuff, like a Star Trek, where they just whoosh, just one thing and boom, you're done. Or they just scan your whole body with this little handheld device. Like, this is the future. It's here and it's going to keep evolving and growing and moving forward with things like this. If they're not absorbed, obtained, and shelved by companies like, let's say, pharmaceutical companies, perhaps, that would say, oh, this is going to cut into our bottom line, our opioids, our pain relievers that make us millions and billions of dollars in profit. If this is readily available, guess what we won't make? More money. So let's hope this will be more than a story on a relatively obscure website, that this will become widely applied, where we can relieve people's pain and chronic pain by a much more natural device that can be pinpointed and targeted to specific pain and doesn't have to course through your entire bloodstream. Moving on. The next one is also great. It's great. Good news for us to hear. Good news for us to ingest. Good news for us to process that can make us feel positive about our future, to make us feel good about ourselves and about humans. Scientists have discovered a way to remove heavy metal from water using plant waste. Listen, This is amazing. Amazing. From plant waste. Can you just, we all love water, right? At least you should. Hopefully you drinking water. I can just, on a side note, let me just digress. Y'all know I digress. If you're not drinking water, start now. Like pause this episode or take this episode with you. If you got some headphones, whatever, go get a glass of water and drink it. Now I know a lot of people, some people I know, I'm not saying no names, but if it ain't sparkling or if it ain't got flavor in it, to them, water is boring. Let me just address that. Water is life. Now, I'm not going to say you got to drink 8-ounce glasses because that's, the general consensus, right? We're all raised like that, especially older people like me. I don't even feel old, but anyway, I'm not going there. Water. And some people say if you talk to your water, I know this is going to sound crazy, but if you talk to your water, you can vibe with your water. You can change the molecular properties to make it do what you want it to do for your body. I'm not even going to go on for that. I'm just going to do some research. But water is the nectar of life. Drink more water. One way you can tell if you're not getting enough water, if your lips are always dry. It's one of the first things that'll dry out. Make it a habit to drink water every day. But in Singapore, at Nanyang Technological University, again, that's Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, otherwise known as NTU. They worked it out. They've been working it out. And without to go and, because of time constraints, like I said, and I have nobody regulating my time. I just try to once again do this for you. You got a lot of stuff to consume, a lot of stuff to listen to. I try to take an hour or less of your time. That's why I try to keep my episodes to an hour or less in respect for your time. I could probably go on for longer. I can have much longer episodes. Anyway, plant waste. And this plant waste comes from when they make oils. Peanut oil was one of them that was mentioned. So when they make these oils, the oils that we use to cook with, sunflower oil, peanut oil, stuff like that, different vegetable oils, there's a byproduct after they make that oil. Okay? And they're basically proteins from oilseed meals. Now, I'm not trying to get complicated, but those are the byproducts that come from making that oil. So those byproducts, after they make the oil, can draw heavy metals to it. It can trap heavy metal ions as they pass by. Amazing. So they combine this with carbon and they have some phenomenal statistics on how this works. Platinum, different metals that are in our drinking water. Make no mistake. Just go to one of these search engines and search Aaron Brockovich or water safety or what's in my drinking water. You may not want to know. So even the most basic carbon filter is better than no filter. But this shows fantastic promise. This is good news. It's good news on a multitude of fronts. One, it doesn't take anything to generate these filtration systems because they're already generated from the waste. This is phenomenal. Once again, the link will be in the show notes. I always laugh when I say that because I say that and then I'll 2 days later I'll be like, I didn't put the notes, but I'm trying to be better and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it this episode. So check for that. check for the link because you want to read about this. This is really good. It's not a lengthy article, but check it out. I don't know if you can hear my dog. Hopefully, maybe I have to edit this out. But she's making noise. Are you getting comfortable? Get comfortable, please. Make all the noise. My last tidbit of good news for this update episode involves giving, involves kindness, involves the type of human and humans that we should all strive to be. When is the last time you helped someone and didn't want anything in return? Like you did it because you just wanted to be helpful. The last time you volunteered anywhere. Now look, I'm not judging. Again, we all have these lives on earth. Whatever your life is, we're all immersed. And, it's easy to say, I don't want to do that. I don't have time. Where do I start? Who can I help? I get it. I just think the world would be a much better place if we all lived for each other instead of ourselves. If we were all kinder and nicer to each other. Which brings me to James Anderson, a plumber in England. Lately, he's been hailed as a modern-day hero. Anderson started out by himself, but he now runs Deptford. I'm presuming that's how it's pronounced. I'm not from England. Depher. Once again, the link will be in the show notes if you want to read more about this. He's helped over 52,000 families. Okay? Equated to a lot of people. And Deptford, the name of his company, or Deptford, stands for Disabled and Elderly Plumbing and Heating Emergency Repairs. And check out what this dude does. They pay people's bills. They do emergency plumbing and heating services. They deliver food. They cover funeral payments and more. Okay. In this article, he said that he was asked to help a 78-year-old lady because her card was refused when she was trying to buy something because she had only just a little less than £7 in her bank. Pounds, of course, is the monetary denomination. We have dollars here in the United States. They have pounds over there in the UK and England. And the reason why she only had less than £7 in her bank account is because the energy company took £765 out that morning. The lady was 78 years old. And the electric company said, we need our money. Let me ask you a question. We have Social Security, right? We have retirement. If a person is in their 70s, 80s, long since retired, shouldn't they qualify for free energy? Do you think they should be still paying into that? We have senior citizen discounts at restaurants and, half off a movie ticket or whatever. When you get to damn near 80 years old, shouldn't you just get free electricity? Free energy? I think we should. I think that would be wonderful. But when I was purposefully seeking out good news, when I came across this particular guy and this particular story, it made me want to be better. Now, I have done volunteerism, teaching my young son to be considerate of others, not just their feelings, but how he can help, how he can be a good human. And this guy, he started out when he went to go give this guy a quote. Now, he's a plumber, okay? And this guy was elderly. He was bedridden. And he was very vulnerable. And he had gotten a quote, and they said it would be over 5,000 pounds to fix his plumbing problem, his boiler problem. Not only did Mr. James Anderson, who was called to give another quote, deal with the company and get the guy a refund, but they also gave him a free boiler. This is the type of person who is not concerned with how much profit he can make, how many things he can acquire, how big a baller he can become. I don't know this man, but I presume he wants to make a living. He wants to feed his family. He wants to have shelter and a safe place. And he wants to help people. And that incident triggered these years and years, and now an organization with 13 employees that do nothing but help people day in and day out, particularly elderly people, with their bills, with their plumbing problems, with food, and whatever else they may need. This is a great story. This is great news. We exist, the kind of us. We exist, good people. I'm not a perfect person, but I'm a good person. Mr. James Anderson in England is a good person. We need to know and be reminded daily in the news that these good people are out there, that these good deeds exist. Good happens. A lot. And I need you to remember this. I need you to know this. Despite all the tragedies, catastrophes, the bad and the evil in our world right now, in the past, and sadly, in our future, all that bad stuff, our planet will continue to turn on its axis. The show must go on. Sports, plays, Broadway, leagues, school, work, businesses, church, nature, playing at parks, and life itself continues. It must. We must. We must not allow our hatred. We must not allow hatred of any kind. We must not allow the mentally ill and evil to stop us, the good people, the sane people, the kind amongst us, the nice among us. I know we've been being barraged and inundated with bad, sad, horrible news. Go ahead, mourn, feel all the feels, and don't ignore the bad, but do not surrender your smile. You hear me? Do not lose your joy. Do not give in or succumb to evil. You see, evil wants us to be sad. Evil wants us to be angry. Evil wants us to hate because evil wants company. Fight it. Despite everything, protect your happiness. Be happy. Do not give it up. Be joyous. Regardless of what you hear that day. Be helpful to others. Don't be afraid to reach out because their skin color is different. Their religion is different. The way they dress is different. Their age, their preferences. Be kind. Be nice. Show empathy. Try to understand what it's like in that person's shoes. Be good. Be the light. Because what the world needs now is love. Sweet love. That's the only thing. There's much too little of. I want to thank you for listening today. I truly do. You know, I appreciate all of you. And I do ask to please to support the show any way you can. And I ask you to take care of yourself and be good, nice, and kind to those you encounter. I'm Mike, and this is the Mike's Opinion Podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.